Namaste, everybody. Rev G here, day 2 of our Lenten journey. As we each day reflect just a little bit on how we can enhance and strengthen our relationship with the divine. So, I always like to do something during Lent and also during Ramadan, which is kind of it's this great spiritual practice for me, because it forces me into doing the practice, right? Because I've made a commitment to you. So that's why I'm doing it. It's for my own invitation to the divine for myself. So I wanted to read from Don Miguel Ruiz's Prayers. It's called Prayers, a Communion with Our Creator. And I just want to read a little bit of it and then maybe talk just for a few minutes and then close with a prayer. All of us, at least once in our lives, have felt a communion with our Creator. There are moments of inspiration when we feel the immensity of creation, the beauty and perfection of everything that exists. Our emotional reaction can be overwhelming. We feel the most wonderful inner peace of mind mixed with intense joy. We call it bliss, a state of grace and gratitude. But at other times, we feel overwhelmed by the pressures of life. Everything seems to be going wrong in our lives and we don't know what to do. We feel too small compared to the immensity of life and we want to be rescued from our problems. Our emotional reaction might be helplessness mixed with sadness, fear, or anger. And we pray, oh God, please help me. We feel that we are being heard. We feel the presence of God and we are comforted. To pray is an act of power because it is an agreement between the human and the divine, and we invest our faith in that agreement. I love that. That's awesome. And I've been looking on Facebook, and there's been this like meme, I guess, going around talking about, stop with our prayers are with you mantra, and start doing something. And I believe that prayer is part of that first action step, that doing. We have divine grace always operating. God is omnipresent. God is omnipotent. God is just omniscient, all powerful, all knowing, ever present. We know that, right? We know that God is in and around and of everything. So do we really need to pray? Because doesn't God really already know, right? You say, but it's about us lifting ourselves up, lifting our egos out of the way, pulling ourselves up by our ego, by our intellect, and bringing ourselves closer to that relationship and that presence of the divine into God's grace. And so prayer is important. And I don't agree with, forget about prayer, forget about praying. So it also reminds me of when we do our mantra and we have our mala beads and we bring the mala bead closer and closer, each bead closer and closer to us. And it always reminds me of my teacher taught me, it's like where our ego is pulling itself closer and closer and closer to God, like a lifeline. And that's by what I believe prayer is. So let's close with prayer today. Let's close with prayer for peace, again, for the people of Ukraine, for the people all over the world who are suffering right now because of poverty or trauma, combat, war, lack, in all the ways that the people are suffering. The people and sentient beings are suffering, all of four-leggeds and creepy crawlers and all of God's creation. So we pray for their protection. We pray for their strength, for their courage, for their resolve, for their resiliency, and mostly for their consciousness in waking up, knowing who they really are, which is the true divine spark of the one source. And so I'll see you all tomorrow. Namaste.